Hello, everyone. Welcome to this live. Today, we are going to talk about LLMs, MCP servers, and how to use it in our lovely .NET. We are going to talk about many stuff from the LLMs part to how to connect it with our MCP, and actually after that, how to develop our MCP servers as well. If you have any question, just put it in the comment. I try to move it to the screen and answer those questions. Today, our guest is Mehran. He's the CEO of Crystal Code. And welcome, Mehran. Thanks for joining me.
Hello.
Okay. Hello,
Saeed. Nice to see you here on every live and talk about LLMs.
Yeah, thanks for accepting this live. Yeah, so Mehran, can you just talk about a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, about your product at Crystal Code? I know you have a very nice product about AI in Crystal Code, so talk a little bit about that.
Yes, of course. So I am Mehran. More focused on AI products. So I worked with the different frameworks and the different ways that we can integrate AI solutions to into our products. So the goal realm of possibility we increase the code, we help other companies to add software teams. So those software teams can add those capabilities to their products. And today I'm going to talk about LLM, AIs, and LLMs, and how they.
Yeah. So yeah, I think your connection is a little poor here. Your screen is a little laggy. But yeah, go on.
I think we have a problem.
I think that's okay now. You can hear me well, right? Okay, until Mehran is fixing his connection. So we know that.
Sorry, guys. I think I had a problem with my connection. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oops. Hello, Saeed. Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, sorry. I think I had a problem with my connection. I hope it's okay now.
Now it seems it's back. It's fine.
Great. Okay. So let's start. We will start about talking about LLMs, AIs, and LLMs. if it is okay, Saeed, we should start with the presentation and all the coding stuff.
Yeah, go for it.
Great. So let me share my screen and go with the presentation that I've recently created for dentists. Exactly. Uh, so it is so universal and everybody can understand it. So today uh, we are going to talk about AIs and LLMs, but we need to understand a little bit about its fundamentals and what's the basics and the mindset behind it. So what we are all programmers, so we know this kind of programming. We write conditions and we write the logic of our program, and then the computer will work just in the way that we programmed it. So in this example, we're telling what is if the temperature had some condition, it should do something, and if the condition is not met, the other statements should be running. But the AI, as the AI evolves, we've created the machine learnings, and we have inspired by how our brain works and how the neural networks work. So the machine learning basics is a big neural networks that accepts inputs, the number as an arrays of numbers, and after that it will result in a number. So the basic classical if the basic classical programming was getting rules and data, and it then will create answers. In machine learning, we give the machine learning the data and answers, and then somehow the ML will extract the rules and understand the rules. Will learn the rules, so it can use the rules later. So what's about generative AI? What is generative AI?
I
So
have a question.
basically, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, can you go back to the other slide? The previous one, I think, about the data and rules.
Okay, this one.
Yes, actually, this one. So I was thinking about this stuff in classical programming, let's say without using AI, just the way that we were writing code before. It seems you put some rules and then you feed that code with some like parameter code, and then based on your logic, you're giving the end user some answers. But now with the machine learning, we put some data somewhere, like let's say LLMs, and then answers, then rules. I don't get this one a little. It seems like if you can just a little more explain how this one is working, would be
Okay,
nice.
so yes, let me explain it more. Exactly. So consider this classic programming. In the computer, the rule. What is the rule? If the temperature was higher than 25 degrees, then run away. And if not, you can stay. So we are giving the rule, and then we will give the data. What is data? For example, the temperature is 23 degrees. Okay, so the data is 23 degrees. The rule is here. We can understand run away or stay. So we can the output is the answer. Stay. It is 20 degrees. Stay. It is 27 degrees. Run away. Okay, but in AI programming, this is happening in another way. So what's it? It is like this. We will tell the machine learning that the temperature was 26 degrees, and we ran away. Okay, the temperature was 28 degrees and we ran away. The temperature was 20 degrees and we've stayed. And we will give lots of data to the the machine learning and lots of the answers. Now, eventually, the machine learning without we saying and telling the rule to the programming. So in this way, if we go back to the this this model here, in the we when in the first where in the first way we were telling the programming with the computer that this is the rule and this is the data. What should I do? And in this model, we're saying to the computer that this was the data and this was the answer. Learn the rules. This was the data, this was the answer. Learn the rules. So the rules will be extracted and and will be learned by the machine learning algorithm. So this is essentially what this image is going to tell.
Mm. Okay, perfect. Now I think
Okay.
I get it correctly. So basically, first we are giving the data and we know the answers, also giving the data, the answers.
Yeah.
And then, for
Exactly.
example, as you said,
Exactly.
for we have a list of these data, temperature, lots of temperatures, and then based on those, like scope or the range of the temperatures, based on the runaway or stay, it will learn. For example,
Exactly.
after a while, it will learn, okay, if based on these data and answers, I know that if the temperature goes higher than 25, it means I have to run away without explicitly
Exactly.
putting that
Exactly.
condition in the code.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay,
That's
okay.
that's the models in AI.
Yeah.
So basically, an AI like a machine learning will be something that we, for example, we give it information about the image of, for example, different shapes. For example, here we give the AI, this is a circle. What do you predict? If you're predicting it's a square, so you're wrong, and the model will correct itself, and we call it back propagation and forward propagation. And after some iterations, the model will be good enough that that can predict different shapes. So for example, this is an image, it is a cat. This is an image, this is a dog. Cat, dog, cat, dog, cat, dog. And after a while, it will learn from the image to so it can predict whether it is a cat or dog. Okay, so this kind of models are classification models, so the classifier models, so they can classify things, images or sentences or whatever. Okay, so if this is machine learning, we're not in this meeting, we're not going to talk a lot about machine learnings because it's a very the vast area that we can talk about. But today our focus is on something else. It is on generative AI. So what is generative AI? So the generative models are still machine learning models that trained, but how are they working that we can talk with? So far, the machine learning models was getting just an input and creating an output, just cat or dog, or the okay or not okay, or the sentiments. So how these generative ARs are working? So this is a cool idea that they worked and created the generative AI. So basically, a neural network, by this definition that we had so far, are getting inputs as numbers and as an array of numbers. Okay, and with some magic, a well-trained model will do a magic on this input and will create an output. That then output is again a number of an array of numbers. So because an AI model uh, uh, can get inputs as array of numbers and create an output again as array of numbers, and everything in the computer world can be converted to arrays of numbers. We can convert text, images, audio, video to array of numbers. So this is how this model can work on different types of contents that we have. But how the generative AIs are working? The language models, the large language models, the LLMs, are designed in a way that can get input and predict what is the next word. The output is not the word that can be placed after this input. So for an AI model, LLM, large language model, the inputs are like this. So the AI is designed in this way. If we have dogs are, what would be the next proper word that can follow this sentence? So we will pass dogs are to our model, and our model will return animals. Okay, and then again we will pass the dogs are animals to our model again, and our model predicts that dogs are animals. The best word after that we will pass dogs are animals that to the model, and you can see how token by token the output is being generated. Okay, so in this way generate the response token by token. This is pretty much like we human are thinking. The way we as humans are thinking is pretty much like it. When someone asks me a question, or for example says hello, what's your name, I'm not creating the whole sentence in my brain and then starting to talking it. In fact, our brain works in a way that creates word by word. For example, me, I'm presenting in this presentation. I have not prepared the whole sentences that I'm going to talk in this meeting. Instead, my brain is generating the next word, and after that, it understands that I've talked so far these words, and it will generate the next word corresponding to the previous words that I've talked so far. So this is the way that the LLMs are working. And to prepare and to train these models, there are lots of techniques and that we are not going to talk, but and just having a quick glance to it, these models are being trained with lots of texts, and after a while some people will correct the answers, or will fix the answers. So for example, it says that with this input you should not create that output is not good, so we should make this or generate this input instead of that output. Great. So this is how different models are being generated by different companies. Different companies have access to different data sources, different technologies, different hardware. And so now, today, we have different models with different capabilities. So, for example, you can compare different models with their speed, with their ease of use, capabilities, specialized in some field or not, the cost, and how they are integrated. So we have different models out there, and we're not going to talk about their differentiations today. Today, our focus is how we can leverage these models in our .NET and C# programs. Great. Do we have any questions so far, or
Not that much.
everything is
There
good? We
is,
can move forward.
yeah, we have one
Seems we have
question
no
actually.
questions, and we can move forward here. Great.
Can you hear me? Yes. So we have one Mahdi question here that's saying, can we use Farsi docs PDF for the RAG? Maybe it's a little soon to ask this question, but generally the question is it possible to use different languages, the
Mhm.
LLMs can detect different type of languages and then parse those content, then use them for like RAG or like MCPs, the
Of
functions.
course, yes. Yes, of course. Uh, a very good news about this is that these models are really good at understanding different languages. They're not just understanding English. They're very good at understanding other languages, including Persian. Personally, I've tested and worked with different AI models like GPT-4. GPT 3.5 is not that good. It still understands Persian, but GPT-4, 4.0, and the later versions are very good at understanding Persian and acting in Persian, and so we can use uh, Persian content and bring it into our LLM models. Great, thank you. So today we're not what we are going to focus is how we can work with these LLMs. You know, there are lots of LLMs out there. If you wake up every morning, you will hear some new news about emerging new model into the world and their stunning capabilities. But how we can integrate the power of these AIs into our C# application and .NET application. This is what we are going to talk about in today's talk. So for this demo, I'm going to use some pre-deployed models that the most of them are deployed on Azure. We are using I'm using Azure Foundry models GPT-4 and GPT-4o models in my samples. So I'm not talking about how we can deploy the new models or how we can create these models on Azure AI in our C# application. Great. So let's go to do some programming and here. Here I've created a very simple program here. It is a food shop here, and I can talk with this AI. So if I can say hello, it will generate the answer to this hello and will answer me with the generated one. So if we wait for it, we will see the answer. So it's saying, "Hi there, how can I help you today?" And I'm saying that, "Hi, I want some food," and it will answer me with some food from a menu that I've provided. I think that when the AI was training, has no understanding about this GPT-4 or 4o model was being trained. It was reading the whole internet, the lots of stuff on the internet. So now it can understand the language, but it has not the knowledge of your business. So your job is to teach the AI, and you connect the AI to your resources of information. In this example, if you ask an AI what foods do you have, it will not answer you. It will say that I don't have any food to provide for you. But for this program, this chatbot that I've created is a chatbot for a fictional restaurant, actually. So I now I learned my AI and connected this AI to my foods menu. In this presentation, we are going to see how this has happened in the C# code. Okay, so this is the program is a very simple loop. Okay, so I've created a brain that after a while we will see the code for this. But for now, we're just creating a brain, and with that brain, we're getting a chat client. So we can talk with this chat client, chat with this brain. And then I have a list of the chat messages. I'm going to keep the history here, in history of our talks here. So the program is very simple. Console write. So we are asking the user to give us some input. We will add that input to our messages. So you can see we are adding that input to as a new chat message and the chat role for this user. Essentially, we're saying the user said this, and we're asking the chat client or AI to answer to get the response for this. So it will call the pre-deployed AI on the Azure and will return the response, and we will show the answer to the user. So very simple. And at the end, we will add the response to our messages. So here in our messages, we have the full history of our conversation with the user. So this is a very simple program. If you had any question about this loop, please send the question so I can see it. If not, if you have not question, let's go to see the magic one here, the brain. What is the brain? What the code is resides in. Do
Yeah.
we have any questions, Saeed?
Actually, not yet, but I have a question here. So
Oh, okay.
we are trying to make a list of the messages and then
Uh-huh.
putting this list of the messages as a history to our LLM. But
Uh-huh.
is there any restriction? Because the other day I was reading some document. They were saying
Uh-huh. Yes.
as much as your history is getting larger, LLMs try
Mm-hmm.
to kind of consume all the history for each question, and then maybe
Uh-huh.
affecting the performance of the LLM. So it's better to keep it short or just removing, like, I don't know,
Great question.
the first entries from the list. So how it is working actually?
Great question. Thank you for asking. So the AI models have absolutely no context. So whenever you send them a message and you ask them to complete this message or create an answer, they will not have any other information that who were you. For example, if I say hello and get an answer, the next time I should send a message to the LLM and say, user, I'm sending you a history. User said hello, and you answered to the user, hello, what can I do for you? And now the user says, what food? I want some food. Now, what should I answer to the user? So as you can see, every time we are passing, we are asking the AI, we should pass to the AI the whole conversation because it has no memory. The AI models, the AI models has no memory. So this window of content that we can pass to the AI varies between different AI models. So we have, for example, GPT-4, different versions of GPT-4 that have 4K window or 8K window or even 32K window. So this is the different. This is one of the characteristics that are very important about different models. A couple of weeks ago, I read the news about a model that deployed by Facebook, I think, that was accepting 1 million tokens at a time. So evolving the new models, the capability to accept larger windows and contexts are getting better.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Great.
So actually, the thing is, it's all about the tokens, not about the count of your messages
Exactly.
inside
Yeah.
the list. So if you have a larger or longer
Exactly. Yeah.
text, yeah, okay. So is there any way? I'm not sure about it. Is there any way before um, sending that question to the LLM? getting how many tokens this text has. Something like, okay,
Ah,
this is hi, how are you? The token count will be, I don't know, 10 tokens, for example. Just out of curiosity,
okay.
if
If there's a way, it's not the one that I'm aware of, but
Mhm.
what I know is that with the AIs, when they're returning answer to you, you can set some configuration. So after calling the AI, the return answer will contain the consumed tokens.
Okay,
So
okay.
you in this way, after calling the AI, you can see how what was the token consumption for this particular
Mhm,
call,
mhm.
AI call.
Yeah, that's yeah. I think that would work as well, just by like storing those tokens, and then after we can like restricting the token
Exactly.
counts, and then just managing the history. Okay, perfect.
Exactly.
Thanks.
Exactly.
Go on.
Great. Great. Thank you. Thank you. So let's get to the brain. What was in this brain? So basically, I want to talk about what is the very great work that Microsoft people have done so far in the creating abstractions for AI. So in Microsoft, Steve Sanderson and Stephen Toub and lots of other very smart people joined the team that create an abstraction for AI in Microsoft Abstractions. You know, we have Microsoft Abstractions.logger, for example, that Microsoft created an abstraction of a logger, a typical logger. So different libraries will implement that iLogger, so we can have different libraries, but they're same interface that they can be integrated with each other very well. So exact same thing happened in AI field. So we have very good abstractions in AI. Actually, we have different models out there, different OpenAI models, the Cloud models, the Olama, lots of different models. But with the with the .NET, there's a good abstraction that can be implemented to work with all of these. So essentially, whatever that you can chat with in the AI is a iChat client. The iChat client is the abstraction of working with models that support chatting. Okay, so if I go to this brain, the shop brain, there's a simple code here. In here, we have a create chat client method here. Here, these are the configuration of my Azure deployed Azure models. I've created a GPT-4 model here. So this is the deployment. This is the security keys here. Nothing important. But here we are connecting to Azure OpenAI client. Okay, and after creating an Azure Open API client, now I will have a iChat client, as you can see, and this iChat client is usable to talk with this AI. If I want to connect to Olama models, for example, in Olama, the only thing that I need to do is to replace this part. Instead of instantiating the Azure OpenAI client, I will create an Olama client, and Olama client again will create an iChat client. So whenever I'm getting an iChat client, everything is the same. So no need to change anything out of this method. We will just we can change the implementation of our chat client, and the others will be able to use this chat client. Okay, so another interest that so far I'm just creating a chat client here, but I'm introducing some tools. I'm going to add some skills to my chat client, because this chat client, we can assume that it just knows English, not just knows the language, but it doesn't know me as a coffee shop. What kind of foods do I have? Okay, can I provide? So I'm going to add a skill to this chat client, and I will go. You have you can call this method whenever you want. This method get food menu, and get food menu will return a food based on the attitude of the user. So this method, as you can see, it will accept the user's mood and it will return an answer based on the user's mood. It's very smart, so we can test it in our chat. If the user is normal or happy, it will suggest the user's pizza, salad, or pasta or salad. If the user is sad, it will offer ice cream, chocolate, or cake. If it feels that the user is angry, then it will offer nothing, and it will say you are on a diet. So this is why in our normal or happy mood, it was suggesting me pizza and salad, pasta and salad for me. Program and say again hi, and after and then I say something very sad, it will offer me some other food. So let's check it in here. I think because I'm using GPT-4. GPT-4 is not that fast. In fact, in lots of my recent works, I'm using GPT-4o. GPT-4o is pretty much faster, but for this demo, I hadn't enough time to change the implementation to connect to it for O project. Okay, hello, how can I assist you? I'm I feel blue. What a boring day. What do you have for food? Okay. And now you will it will answer me ice cream, chocolate, and this kind of stuff. So how AI understood that it should answer me, it should detect my mood and answer me based to our model, to our chat client, some tools. Essentially, we are adding some skills to our chat client. We are introducing it, get food menu, and we have added some metadata to it. So we are telling the AI that this you can use this tool in this way. First of all, it will return the food menu based on the attitude of the user. The user mood is the user's mood based on this chat. So you should extract the user mood from the previous chat that you had with the client. And these are because we're passing an enum here, the AI will understand the possible ways to call this method is these values in this enum. So it now understands that it can call this method with these possible values here. So let's check. Let's test another thing that I think would be interesting. So far, do we have any questions so far, or or I can move
Um,
forward?
yeah, go ahead. So far, there is no question about it. So
Great.
the thing that you just presented is can be applied to any other stuff as well. So now you're talking about the
Exactly.
foods based on the mood, but like can be anything else, right? Depends on how you're
Exactly.
describing the function, how you're describing the input parameter. LLM can actually retrieve those parameters and then sending to your function. And that is actually, I was checking another code base. It was like for the online shopping, we were
Hmm, hmm.
asking, okay, what do you have for like what kind of mug you have, what kind of t-shirt you have. So, and then in this function, it will call another API to get the data from database and then just send the result to the
Exactly.
LLM. Then it was really, really nice one.
Yes, it's really cool, I think, because here we have the whole power of C sharp. You can write any
Mm.
C sharp code. You can connect to your database, run a query over it, and return the answer based on your database. You can call different APIs. You can write lots of complicated logic here. And actually, you have the freedom of using anything in C sharp in your methods. So you can create rags from using this technique. So adding tools to your iChat client, and you create some rags, and it gives you tons of opportunities here that you can create by introducing tools. But this one is this sample is interesting for me, because whenever what happens if I change my mood? So okay, so hello, I'm going to say hello. Hi, what the fuck do you have for food? I'm very angry, but I'm not saying that I'm angry, but it should perceive that I'm angry and answer based on that. So it's not answering me. It will not offer me any food. Unfortunately, our menu isn't suitable for you right now since you're right on a diet. Okay, and then I change my mood. Well, what a beautiful day, beautiful day. No, let's say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm very sad that bothered you. Okay. Now, if I ask for food, it will answer me for some other some foods that now it's offering me ice cream and chocolate and cake. And now, if I say, what a great day would I have with these? With what would I have with these food? These. What else do you have? What else do you have? So, as you can see, when I'm changing my mood in the conversation, the AI will call my tool and will get different answers, and will convert those different answers to sentences, and will leverage those answers in talking with me. So this is really cool feature that these new AIs have, and you can imagine how what 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 kind of great features we can create in our applications using iChat client. I really admire the way that iChat client is architectured and designed in .NET, because it's very handy. As you can see, we have done nothing, just creating a very simple Azure OpenAI client, and we've wrapped it in another chat client using Chat Client Builder, and configuring it with a tool here, and we're enabling function invocation to it. And in this architecture in .NET, it's pretty much like the middlewares in ASP.NET Core. So you can wrap different iChat clients with different capabilities in each other, and add features to it when wrapping whenever wrapping a new one. So we can, in this way, you can add, for example, caching strategies. You can add logging strategies. You can add, for example, language detection, or, for example, if you want to force the user or force the iChat client to answer in a specific language, so you can add different layers of logics and businesses in different layers of chat clients. Great.
So
So,
one thing here, if we have multiple functions added to the tools,
mhm,
is it always
uh-huh,
calling them, or because you mentioned about the middleware? Because
uh-huh,
middleware are always is
uh-huh.
called by pipeline before
I
you can
see
do,
what you're saying.
yeah.
Yes.
Uh, but here, I think based on
Yes.
the description, it will be different, right?
Yes. Exactly. Maybe the middlewares wasn't a good example, but what's like middlewares here is not calling the functions, is introducing the function to the AI. So in each middleware, you can introduce new tools based on the different middlewares or different characteristics that you want. For example, in a pipeline, maybe you want to let the AI to have access to get food menu, but in another pipeline for different user with different the other permissions, you don't want the user to have access to this tool. So you can decide whether to add a tool to your pipeline or not to add the tool. So the decision here is not calling or not calling, is to adding the tool or not adding the tool to the pipeline. So exactly as you said, the AI will be the one deciding when to call these methods if it wants at all.
So Amir is asking about the limitation of this API. I'm not sure exactly about his meaning. Is there any limitation about calling the method, or maybe count of methods we can put in the tools?
Okay. Essentially, the tool called the tools chain or tool calling is the same way that the conversation is happening. So if you look deep to the conversation that is passing to the AI, the sequence is like this. User said, "What food do you have?" Okay, this message will be sent to the AI. The AI will answer you with adding a new chat message. It is a tool call. The AI will ask you to call this tool with these parameters and answer me. Then the iChat client will send the AI this chat. The user said, "What food do you have?" The the AI wanted me to call this get food menu with the mood sad. I've called it, and the answer is the tool called result is, for example, pizza and salad, and the AI will pass the computer will pass this to AI, and the AI now has this input. User said this. I've asked for the result of this tool, and the result is this. Now the answer is that okay, very nice to meet you here, and I have salad and pizza and pasta for you. So the answer is going to generated like this. Because of this, the tools is nothing more than some chat messages. So the limitations and the restrictions would apply to tool calling just because of the context type that your API is supported. So because we are using Azure, in Azure we have different models with different contexts, and also you can define some quotas or rate limiting rules to your models. It is AI models, but for example, and constraints or quotas for your APIs, and these are essentially the limitations that you can put on your models on Azure. Great. Any other question?
Yeah, actually, that one really interesting,
Awesome.
because
So
I
we can move
didn't think
forward.
about.
Okay, so far, so you can see that this program was very simple. A
Can you
very
hear me,
simple loop
Mehran?
here.
I think
Yes, yes.
maybe. Okay, sorry. So the point here is, just you mentioned about the way that the tools are working. So there are, it seems, lots
Mhm.
of interaction between the LLM and the code. For example,
Oh, yes.
if user asks a question, first it will go to the LLM asking, okay, this is
Exactly.
the question. It will retrieve maybe some like concept of the gist of that question, and then saying, okay, is there any tools available based on this metadata of the question? Then asking or passing that data to the method doing the job, returning something to the LLM, and then LLM again processing that response, then wrapping it in something else, and then
Mhm.
passing it again to the code. So it is not like we are touching LLM only one time. It's just like an interaction between the LLM and then
Exactly.
coming back to the code, again going back to the
Yes.
LLM, something like that. So it is, I think that that's the point, really important in case of performance, in case of even like costs in calling quotas for your Azure services. We need to actually care about this one as well.
Exactly. So calling the I chat client whenever we are calling get response async, it's not necessarily a one-time call to the API. So it is highly possible to that there are multiple round trips to call the required tools and getting the result. And after a couple of round trips, it will return the answer.
So that's actually another good question about having multiple
Mhm.
tools or methods. So in
Mhm.
case of multiple tools, how we can orchestrate, how we can manage to what method at this time needs to be called. I think this one will be handled by LLM, or no, also as a developer, we can kind of
I
restrict or control the method calling.
Yes, I can see it. I can bring some background to this question too. This feature of function calling wasn't available since the day one. So for example, the GPT 3.5 had 3.5. The first versions of GPT 3.5 hadn't this feature. So in that days, there was some other ways to do this. So because the function calling wasn't available, there was some mechanisms in the models or programming languages like planners or a lot of different things that we were creating to simulate something like this. But after a couple of versions in the recent AI models, most of them has the AI has the tool calling or function invocation feature built in. So in this way, the AI is the one deciding what to call, when to call, how to call. Okay, but you can help the AI to better decide better by getting the AI better descriptions, for example. Here, writing better descriptions, right? Better descriptions for our tools and better description for our inputs, or better description in our main prompt, the system prompt, we can help the AI to decide better. Okay, so one technique is to navigate AI or help the AI by better metadata. The other way is that sometimes we know that we don't want the AI to use this specific tool. So in those situations, we can dynamically eliminate that tool from the tool call when we're calling the AI. So sometimes we can write a logic not to let the AI to use this tool, or and the other times the AI will decide how to call our tools based on the metadata and descriptions that it has from it. Great.
Okay.
Thank you for your question. And
Thanks. Yeah.
if we have not any
If
other question, we
uh,
can forward.
yeah, let's move on. Admire, if you have any question, you can post it again.
Great, thank you. So far we have created a very simple chat program in the console application, and this chat program is used a very simple brain, and this very simple brain is just using just one tool. So very easy. I think and it was very joyful for me writing this program. I've written this program a couple of times, and each time I really enjoyed it because every time the API was getting better and better. But in a commercial product, When we are creating a commercial product, we are facing with lots of different tools, lots of different prompts, and lots of different situations. And most of the time, it's really hard to write a predictable AI. If you change the metadata for AI or change the prompt, you can fix something, but you can lose another feature that were working previously. But because of the change that you've made on the prompt, now those features are gone, but the new feature is working. So somehow we need to write tests for our AIs. Okay, so this is where we can write tests or semantic tests for our AI. Writing tests for AI components are very challenging and difficult because there is, as you can see, the result of AI differs each time. If you say it, if you pass to the AI hello, it is not going to necessarily return you a hello. It is possible to it return to hi. What can I do for you? The next time you call to send a hi, it will say hello. What can I do for you today? So you cannot write tests to assert the exact string there. Somehow you need to semantically test the result and the response of the AI. Here, here we have this. For example, if I'm saying on menu, okay, I expect the answer should be pizza, or the answer is not pizza always. Okay, but I can't describe our semantic expectations of the result here. You will say it mentioned. I expect from the answer that it mentions the pizza, and it should not mention the ice cream if the input is this. Okay, so and I expect the AI to do a function call, and it should call get food menu function. I expect the AI to do like this. So this kind of test scripts are the test scripts that you can run use with SK unit. The SK unit is like X unit, but for running tests, this kind of test. So this test case can be passed using these test sessions here. You can see. So let me see. So these are the different tests that we have. So if I run this and the happy part, if I run this unit test, we can see the SK unit is running that document, that scenario for us. It says that user is saying, but the actual answer is for today's menu we have pizza, pasta, salad, and which one do you prefer? And the check condition, its semantical condition, was it mentions the pizza, it does not mention the ice cream, is passed. It's okay. And the function call is happened. It is okay. So in this way, you can write different tests. Different tests, the semantic test to semantically check your answers. So another use case that we see in my presentation was changing the mood. This is it's a more complicated test. So for example, in this test, we're telling this: what a boring day! I feel so blue. What do you have on your menu? The answer should mention the ice cream and should not mention the pizza. And I want to make sure, I want to assert this fact that it has called get food menu with this argument, sad. And after the answer, if the user says, great, thank you, I'm happy now, what do you have for food now? I expect the answer to mention the pizza now, and now I expect it to call the get food menu with this new mood here. So as you can see, here we have the result for this answer too. The user asked this, the expected answer was this, the actual answer was, I'm sorry to hear you feeling down, how about some comfort for food? The ice cream is mentioned here. And so the assertions and the check semantic conditions are passed. The function call is passed. Yes, it is called. The user, again, if the user say, great, thank you, I'm happy now, the expected answer was this. The actual answer was, we have pizza, pasta, and salad for menu. Again, this condition, it mentions the pizza. Yes, this actual result has this condition. And again, the AI, yes, it is called the function name, this function name, get food menu with this new mood. So as you can see, you can test your expectations from your AI here. And after writing tests that after writing a test that specify your expectations from AI, you can change your prompts and change your models and work with different conditions in your code. And at the same time, you can assure that all of the previous features, all of the previous skills or features or capabilities in your AI are still there and they're working. In this way, you can create reliable AI models that can be used in real life and real commercial products, because you can rely on the results. Why? Because you have lots of tests that are testing their the capabilities semantically. Great. Do we have any questions, Saeed?
No, there is no question. But I have one thing here, because this is really important about the working with AI. Actually, the point you mentioned about
Exactly.
every time that we are asking questions from LLMs, it can
Mhm.
actually give us a different answer. So we need to make sure that those answers, no matter how they are articulating the answer, it should be following the rules that we set. For example,
Exactly.
based on the
Exactly.
mood, no matter they are like putting some extra text. Okay, nice to have you here, you're happy, let's have some pizza, for example. But when we put this kind of test, we are making sure that our logic is working fine. Because maybe, what if we change the model from ChatGPT to DeepSeek, for example, but still, I mean, we cannot go through all of the code, running them, testing them, because every time that they can generate different answers. So having this kind of test definitely is a really good things to have. And I am happy that you actually created that Nugget package, Mehran, that SK unit, which is really good one. So everyone can go there, use the Nugget package. I haven't seen any other packages like this, but this one is really easy to use and also descriptive. Everyone can just put a like a markdown file and describe what it needs to be like there, what function calling also should be there. So yeah, that's
Exactly. Thank you. Yes.
yeah.
Yes, we're using SK unit for our commercial products, and you've mentioned a really important thing about it. Because the test cases are in Markdown, the business teams can write all of those expectations in Markdown and see the result and understand it's understandable by them. And the Markdown that is being created by the business team can be evaluated and passed by this SK unit. So in this way, we can create different reliable AI modules. Great, thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah.
And also, uh, here this was a very simple program, a restaurant, and we had just one function call here and tool here. But in a more complicated program, you have, as I mentioned, we have different rules and different function calls, different expectations, and we can assure that our program has this. And also, this is a chat experience. What I'm not there's other ways in .NET that you can talk with this brain. For example, you can talk with this AI. Okay, so it's the same brain that you've created can be interacted using a conversation AI. So I'm going to present another website that we can talk about it, and it has some features that have tested by SK Unit. How? For example, the Krista Code, our website at Dubai, is going to talk and interact with our customers and see and understand their needs, okay, and set a meetings for those people. It is highly probable, possible that people ask irrelevant questions. For example, someone asks, "What's your opinion about BMW car?" Okay, in our prompts, we've instructed the AI if users asked about something irrelevant, be smart and innovative and find something in common with that topic and your topic, and somehow return the topic to the on track. Okay, so for this test cases, to make sure that for different irrelevant questions, it can successfully return to the track. But let's see a demo of it, how it is doing it. Checking the website here, it is crystacode.ai, and say if we let's make sure. I think that yes, we have the voice here. Okay, so as you can see, I will talk to the AI from now on. Hello there, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. How can I help you today? Would you like to know more about our previous works, our services, or perhaps you'd like to discuss a project and set up a meeting with us?
Well, actually, I want to know more about your team. Can you tell me more about the team?
Our team is truly exceptional. We have talented
Okay,
individuals
that's
from around the
enough.
world
That's
who
enough.
specialize in
What's your
advanced AI and
opinion
cloud
about
technologies.
BMW cars?
Our key team members include Mehran, our CEO, who leads us with. Got it. If you're Well, when it comes to BMW cars, they're known for their innovation and cutting-edge technology. Similarly, at Christacode, we thrive on creating innovative software solutions that incorporate the latest technology. If you have a project in mind, we'd love to help you drive it forward. Shall we go ahead and set up a meeting to discuss your ideas?
Awesome. Yes, let's set a meeting.
Great. Let's get started. Could you please tell
Yes,
me your
my
name?
name is Mehran.
Thanks, Mehran. Could you also
It is
provide your email address?
Mehran
Let's make sure we have.
at
Got it. Now, could you please share your job title or role in your organization?
yes, I
That'll
am
help us prepare for our
CEO of
discussion.
LandLogic.
Thank you, Mehran. Now, could you provide a brief description of the project or the
Yes,
reason for the meeting?
project is a Android application that I wanted to have the same capabilities that you have, same AI capabilities that you have. I want it to be able to, for our customers can talk to the application.
Got it. It sounds like an exciting project. Could you share more details about the
Okay,
project's
that's
budget
it.
and
I don't want to go more forward on it, so it will set a meeting. But the interesting part is that this AI has different capabilities that we have tests for those capabilities to make sure whenever we are improving the model. For example, the previous versions of this was using a previous version of 4.0, okay, the 4.0, the model, but the new version is using and very cost effective, but we were not sure that if we migrate our product from 4.0 to 4.0 mini, what happens to the results. No, but we weren't worried because we ran the tests and we see that all of the tests are passed. Some of those tests weren't passing and needed some prompt modification. So we've applied those prompt modifications to make them more suitable for 4.0-mini. And now our AI products is working for this new cost-effective model again. So Any questions so far? So we just talked about how we can add, beside the chatting capability, we can talking capability to the same brain. Okay,
I
seems.
am mute, I think. I actually really like this presentation, talking with this AI, getting answer from it. And then the interesting thing is, ask you a question, get your answer, putting in the like different forms for applying for like a meeting or anything like other functionality. So the point is, you were saying that you use the same way you just presented about validating those answers with the same, like the way like SK unit, you're writing unit tests or other stuff. So my question is, how about, because here is about speech to text, but in that one you just sending the text and getting answer, right?
Yes, again. In this meeting, I haven't prepared a code for conversational UI, but if you see the ATK, the abstractions and the API for working with the conversational UI, again, you will see that it is the same model. It is that you are creating a conversation client and you're introducing to it the very same tools that you were using. So we are introducing the exact same tools that we were using for chatting. All of those tools will be introduced to the conversational UI, and now both conversational client and chat client are using same bunch of tools, and these bunch of tools are being tested using a SK unit test. So whenever a client with a model, for example, a 4.0 model or a 4.0 real-time model, is passing some tests, so it proves us that these tool set with these prompts are working well, whether it is using by chat client or it is going to be used with a conversational client. The conversational client is in beta stage, so it is not a final state, not by Microsoft and not by OpenAI. In OpenAI, the specification is not final as yet. Because of that's why we can't, we're not hearing about that part of the AI so much yet. But soon, I assume they will be finalized, and the final version by OpenAI and Microsoft will be released.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, at the end, what I'm trying to say here is, instead of giving the text to the LLM, you're sending an audio to the LLM, right? Okay,
Exactly.
okay.
Yes, exactly. So there are different ways to do this. One way is when we are getting the text, we use some AI, for example, we use some AI to convert that voice to text and pass that text to our model, getting the result in text, and again converting that text to voice and returning that voice to the user. This is one approach. The other approach is that there are some very cutting edge models that accepts input, the audio input, and creating the audio output without needing to converting them to text and vice versa. So these new models that we're calling them real-time models, we can have a real-time experience with them. In my demo, you were seeing that uh, I, I was interrupting the AI while AI was talking. I was interrupting the AI. Why that was happening? Because the connection that we have was there were duplex connection. There was at the same time we have a stream of bytes going to the server, and at the same time there was a stream, incoming stream from the server to the client. So that's why this way of real-time experience was happening.
Okay, perfect. So I think that's a good time to move to the MCP word. So far, we were talking
Absolutely.
about, yeah, we're talking about the LLMs, how they are working, how they are parsing the text into the like numbers, getting the answer, how to test that one. So yeah, let's get into it.
Great. Yes. Very good time to talk about MCPs. Finally.
Yeah.
Okay. So the MCPs that I think you've heard about it in the past couple of months. Very hot news about the MCPs. Everyone is talking about MCPs. And the Microsoft has the MCP implementation in the Model Context Protocol GitHub. So what is this? What are these MCPs? Essentially, as you can see, we can write different tools. Yes, we can. For example, I've created a tool that can return has, for example, get food menu. This tool is uh, really coupled with my business logic. But there are lots of tools that are can be used by the other people. For example, if the AI models, the LLM models have no understanding of time. So if you ask them what time is it, they wouldn't know because they don't know what time is now unless you provide them with a tool. For example, you provide them a tool that they can call that tool to get to understand what time is it now. Okay, this kind of tool is very usable for everybody. So why shouldn't why shouldn't I write this, encapsulated this, and package it somehow so other people can use it too? So not everyone need to implement it this with their own in their own code. How this could happen? So the getting the time is the easiest logic, but imagine different, more complex logics that we can have. For example, I want a tool set, a set of tools that I can interact with a PostgreSQL. Okay, I want to ask it about different, what tables do you have? How many rows has this table? So you can write this tool, but this tool, this tool can be used for other people. So actually, MCP is a way to package these tools so other people can use them too. So it's there are some sites that you can publish your package there, just like NuGet and npm. So for example, the Smithery or mcp.so there are some websites that are providing this kind of stuff. Let me share my screen again to see some of these. So, for example, the Smithery is one of the websites that you can find different tools that are pre-populated. So, for example, there's a time server here. I can search here time MCP server. Okay, this time MCP server, if I open it, it's saying me that this time server has this method: current time, relative time, days in month, and get timestamp. So these are the tools available in this MCP. Another MCP is here in mcp.co PostgreSQL. It's saying that it has it has in it the different tools in it. So the basic query is querying. It just have one tool, query. So you can ask queries from the database, and it will get the answer to you. So these are the different MCPs available over there, and they're containing some prepared and pre-populated tools here. So in .NET applications, not only you can write your own tools, you can also leverage the tools available in the market. So, for example, for this time MCP server here, we can see if you want to, we want to use it. This is it's a specification that we should provide in our code. So let's look how we can use this MCP as tools in our .NET code. So here, this is another application. It's called the demo. Yes, this is a test that I've written to test MCPs here again. So again, it is a semantic. It is an SK unit test, and here I'm creating a MCP here like this. This is the information about exact information that was in the Smithery website. Okay, for time. And here I'm creating with MCP client factory, I'm creating an MCP. Okay. And after creating this MCP, the only thing that I need is to call this list tools here. And it will get return the tools that are available in this MCP. And here, instead of introducing my own tools, I will introduce these MCP tools to this to my iChat client. And again, everything will work. And here we are passing this test. If I call what time is it, it should mention a time, and I expect it to call this function, the current time. Our AI should get past this. And again, if I ask how many days are in this year in this year's January, or it should answer me 31 here, and it should I want to make sure that it calls day in month. And here, if you see the test result here, you can see here that this test is passing. The user says the actual answer was the current time is this, and the function the function call is happened, and the answer to how many days are in this year's January, it mentions 31 years, and it was okay for this. So you can see the MCPs are not more than just some prepackaged tools over there. And using them in our application, in our .NET, is very easy. As you can see, it's just you will copy and paste the information from Smithery or mcp.io, and you will use you can use them in your application. Great. And also, the other thing I want to talk today is not only you can use MCPs in .NET, but also you can write new MCP servers, create new MCP servers, and publish in your MCP servers over there. Okay, how we can create new MCP servers? Here it is. It's really easy, really easy again. It's a simple project with just one file. You just are going to create an empty application builder, and then you want to the only thing you need to is to add an MCP server. And this is the server instructions. In this application, I'm creating a very simple time server here, and I'm introducing again my tool here. There's a time tool here. The time tool has just one get current time, and this get current time is going to return the current time. And I'm introducing my I can introduce my tool here. I can introduce it here just like this if it is not static. And if I wanted to explore and search for my assembly and find any tool introduced in it, I can create it with stdio server and with tools from assembly, and it will find those classes that are annotated with this annotation here to understand which tools are available. And if I run this, if I want to test this tool here, we will test the tool very soon. Any questions so far? And then I can go to see how we can test it.
No, there is no question in the comments. But actually, I just wanted to repeat what just you said about the MCPs.
Sure.
So before, as you just presented before, we can write our own code to deal with different functionalities like calling some third-party APIs, getting the response, everything we can do still. But these MCPs are kind of like usually from third-party APIs like GitHub APIs. You still can
Exactly.
write your own API calling the API from GitHub, getting your repositories, for example, or creating some PRs, all the functionalities there. But there is one GitHub MCP that you just can, just like a NuGet package, you can install the NuGet package and then start calling those methods. Those codes are behind the scenes, and then you can just asking the LLMs, okay, what kind of repositories I have. So you can see actually how much time you can save, and then in a like a safe way. Maybe you're writing the code, your code has some bugs, you have to care about the versions, the compatibility. Maybe in the new version, GitHub changed their API, but you can just calling the server or newer version of it. They will just taking care of everything there. You just use those APIs, and then you can focus on the custom logic you want to implement. That is really a game changer, because we can see in the like past 2 or 3 months after MCP announced, everywhere most of the people in all the social medias are talking about MCPs. And then in .NET as well, it was really quick to create some like NuGet package added to our chat client supporting the MCPs. And the other day I was checking, because there is two different MCP servers, like one is locally, one is remote. So you
Exactly.
can have your remote MCP server as well. You can write your own, deploy it somewhere, and then from your local, just call that MCP. So it is really, really cool. And as before 2025, I was reading kind of reports about the AI state. So they were saying that during these 3 years, like from 2020 or 21, that ChatGPT released, every company is trying to announce their products as like models, different models, like big tech companies, Microsoft, Google, I don't know, everywhere, just trying to release their own LLM models. But now, 2025, they were saying that, okay, this year is the year for embedding those functionalities of AI into the industry. So, and this
Exactly.
MCP, I think, really helpful for helping us to just easily integrate our products, our projects to different services we can use. We don't need to spend times to just writing our own code. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that this is really cool state of AI, and going on will be a lot more.
Exactly, exactly. It seems that we have NuGet for AI. So we have
Exactly.
NuGet
Yeah.
for AI. So if we can imagine what
Mhm.
could happen in the following years. So let me share my screen again and see. So far, I've just created an MCP server, a really simple MCP server here. That the only thing that it supports is getting the time. Now I want to test it. How can I test it? How can I use it? One of the beautiful things about MCPs is that because it is a standard an MCP, whenever you create an MCP, any product in the world that can integrate with MCP can use and leverage your product and your MCP. One of those products, the very first one was Cursor. The Cursor was a branch of VS Code, and it was they were the initiators of the IE of the MCP. And the current version, the the VS Code is supporting the MCPs too. So I want to show you the MCPs here. So in my VS Code, I've just introduced two MCPs here. Okay, the first one is a time server that that I've created just recently. So this is the address of my computer. So this is the MCP that is on my computer. And if I ask a question, so what time is it now? The empty chat, let's see, it understands that there is a get current time in this MCP, and it is asking me for the permission to run this. I'm going to say yes, it is okay. Call that tool for me, and it will answer me using this here. Okay, that was really interesting. And the other so in my VS Code, I've configured it with one local MCP which I just wrote, and I've added another MCP to interact with Postgres, the Postgres SQL. Okay, so here I've connected it to my Mehran and I Geo database. It's a fictional database in my system, and I want to see what are the how many uh, cafes are in the places dot cafe table. So I know there's a table in. I want to know how many uh, cafes are registered. It's saying me that it is going to run this query on the Azure. So the AI is getting the permission from me, and after that it says it's 3. Okay, I list their titles. Okay, I want to list their titles. So again, it will understand that it should call this query against the database. So it says the titles of the config. Oh no, it got me wrong. List list the cafe that are in play. List the titles of the cafes in the places dot cafe. So as you can see, it's created that query for me, and it says these are the cafes that are available here. And in my database, if you see, if there are another database, it is restaurant here, and in our restaurant we have different some other uh, information here. Let me see. These are the different places, and these are the here are the restaurants. I want to know, for example, I want to tell me the titles are that are in both place and cafe tables. Okay, let me see how it is querying. So it understands that it should write a query that intersects these two, and it will check that these are the cafes that are both in available in both lists. So as you can see here in my VS Code, I configured it to use these different MCPs. One of them was the MCP that I just wrote here and created. The other one was one of the MCPs that I've used was available is from Smithery, I think, and you so your company, you can in your company, if you want to expose your expose your MCPs, you can publish your MCPs and let the other people to use your MCPs, or you can use your all of the MCPs that are available in different sites, for example MCP.co or Smithery, to leverage them in your code base. And that's it. This is about the MCPs. Also, the code for the MCPs, in this blog, I've except how to create this MCP and how to test it, and the code is available here in my GitHub for creating the MCP servers.
Okay, that is. I mean, one of the things that I really like is before, when the new technologies introduced. Let me just remove this one. So before, when the new technologies introduced, released, I think it was really difficult and time consuming to learn about them, to work with them. But now with
Mhm.
these AI, it's really simple. You can just, with
Exactly.
writing few lines, you can get it up, call the function, or get whatever you want. And this is, I think, exactly the point that AI is really growing in all the, not only between developers, also
Mhm.
non-technical people are trying to deal with this
Exactly.
kind of
Exactly.
AIs, because it is just like a human language. You can chat with that, just say what you want, and then it will, like just you said about the Postgres, which is really um,
Mhm.
interesting thing, because you can explain what you want, and then it will generate the query for you, going to the database, getting data for you, and it is here. But when you want to create a product, when you deploy your code or having your interface, your website, then all the you can just have a chat box and then provide everything to the users. Just they want to say,
Exactly.
okay,
Yes.
instead of going lots of places to find some information, they just trying to say, okay, what is in your, I don't know, what kind of food this restaurant has, this kind of things. So it is really cool. Admir has a question about, actually this is interesting one. I haven't thought about
Mhm.
this one, about authorization options in the MCP servers. I'm not sure, is it
Uh-huh.
kind
Uh-huh.
of um, we can leverage the authorization, or it's kind of different layer of it?
Yes, in fact, authorization is a very vast field that we can talk about. But I think admins mm, admins want to know how we can control the people who are using our MCP, or if it is, for example, required to monetize our MCP, that happen? So the, the website that was providing all of these MCPs can accept parameters. So, for example, in the sample that I was providing, if you get some MCP from a Smithery, it will have some key in it, dash dash key. So you have this in that JSON file. You will need to put some key to your MCP to work. Okay. So if you write an MCP, you can uh, make some required parameters for it to add some required parameters for it. And if someone is going to use your MCP, they will need to get an authorization key from you, and you are the one who maybe you want to sell those authorization keys, or just like Smithery, by a simple login you will have one, or whatever you want to do. So this is one level of using authorization, using providing the keys in the configuration part of your MCP. The other part is that your MCPs can accept parameters. So in this way you can write the logic of your MCPs to act in different ways based on the different parameters that you're accepting from the MCPs. For example, maybe you can your one of your tools in your MCP has a required input parameter of token of the user. and you check that, you can check that token in your tool, and whether this token is valid or invalid, you can return different results. For example, if the token is valid, you can result the expected result, you return the expected result. But if the token is invalid, you can just return the exception, and the exception by the AI will be converted to a friendly message to the user that you have not access to this functionality because, for example, your account is expired.
Yeah. So actually, Admir Mint, I think, is more about the usage of that MCP. So, for example, if you're writing an MCP server, for those they want to use your MCP server, that's fine. You can just having some, you can make it commercial. Actually, they can buy your keys and then use your MCP server.
Exactly, yeah.
But when it comes to the application side, for example, I add the Postgres server, and then I want to restrict some specific of users to query on my database, for example. And I don't know if there is any ways to actually restrict, or maybe
the
I'm not
situation
aware.
is just like the NuGet packages. The authorization is something beyond the a NuGet package. For example, a NuGet package is a set of APIs that you can call, and if for example, some of them you should as a developer you should purchase them to use them, but how you are going to integrate it to your authorization system is up to the developer. The developer can leverage them or limit them by the accesses, but the different claims that the users have, different the authorization or authentication methods should be happen out of the program. And you as a developer can decide how to call the MCP or not, but the MCP itself is just like a NuGet package. Most of the NuGet packages are free, but some of them that are monetized, they need some key, for example, to use. The same approach and mechanism would work for MCPs too.
Yeah, I just have a thought about the solution about this one. Because, as we just talked about, the calling or dealing with these LLMs are based on the chat, like the conversation. You're talking with the stuff. But in case of like if you have some MCPs, you're writing that one. I'm not sure about the predefined like GitHub, like the others. But if you want to write something that needs to be authorized, maybe you can put in the description that this function needs to be called or contains user ID, for example. And then in your API, once you have a chat box in the website, and then once someone asking some question, then hitting the button to send, it will call your API. Then before sending that question to the LLM, you can check if user is authorized or logged in. Just concat the user ID to the end of the question, for example. The user ID is like X. And then LLMs will understand, okay, this question contains user ID, then this method can be called. Otherwise, cannot call that method. Something like that. But yeah, it is a little tricky. But as this kind of things, you need just
in our
to
projects,
play with
but
them.
we've done this in projects that we've done this. So, for example, we've created a tool. For example, get my food or get invoice. Okay, get invoice. So it will return the invoice of a user. Get invoice will accept an invoice ID, and also it needs for example, authorization token, JWT token. Okay. And in the conversation, somewhere we pass that this user's name is this and this user's JW token is this. So it is in the conversation. Okay. So whenever the AI wants to call the get invoice, it need and this the JW token or authorization key is a required one. It's not a nullable one. So because it is required, the AI will know that if it want to call this, it should have the JW token. If it has not, so the user is not authorized, and the AI has not enough information to call this. And again, in your tool, you can give that JWT or the authorization token and check whether it is valid or not. So if it is valid, return the answer. If it is not valid, return the exception. And the same way that our APIs works
Yeah,
the
that's
API
actually
work.
this one is better. We can put the user information as a part of the chat history, and then the LLM can understand. Yeah, that's a better one. Mahdi also asked question about SQL Server. I think answer is no.
Yes, the answer is yes. We have no,
Yes,
we have
really. Oh, I
yes, we
didn't
have
know.
a SQL. Yeah, I've just searched. We have a SQL Server MCP2. I haven't tested it but I see it in Smithery there and or MCP.CSO. There was some MCPs for this. I haven't tested them because there's lots of MCPs every day adding to these websites, but I've seen this particular one.
Okay, perfect. I didn't know. I thought that it's only Postgres. Usually, you know that always this kind of
Yes.
Postgres, those open source are very faster than Microsoft to prepare this kind of functionalities.
Yes.
Um,
Another thing for the admir's answer, I want to add. There's another approach. Maybe this one is safer. We've used it in some of our projects too. So because sometimes you don't want to send a JWT as a part of conversation. Okay, but as you can see, the tools are methods of some classes. Yes. In the C sharp, you can create for example, I can create a class called my client. Okay. And this my client, I have a method get invoice, and it accepts an ID. But the token for this user is a property of that specific class. So my class have the authorization token, and it will not get that authorization token from the inputs of the methods, but the class or object is instantiated based on the user's context. So in the pipeline, when we're creating the tool calling system for that specific message, we will have the current authorization information out of the method inside the class. This was something that I had seen that Steven Sanderson was doing in its demo too. This technique was being used by Steve Sanderson to essentially contain some information other than the chat history, but from the context of our program that we need to be added whenever the tools are being called. That's a cool approach too.
yeah, that's. I think going on, it will be more evolved. This kind of
Exactly, yes.
restriction, authorization, how we can manage, how we can restrict some of the tools to be called. But yeah,
Exactly.
it's maybe yet to be there, but we will. I'm sure about it.
Actually,
Yeah.
I here if you can see my screen,
Yes.
I have a blog about this. That what are those things that I think that there's missing in still missing in MCP. For example, maybe we need some kind of dependency calculations, just like the npm packages that are depending to other packages and to NuGet packages that we have. Also, we have not versioning mechanism in MCPs yet. I think we will have in some way in the future. Also, again, conflict resolution priorities. For example, if I add 2 MCPs to my client, and both of those MCPs has method for getting the time, which one should have higher priority, and the other and the other stuff. So these are I think the MCP is in its early stages, really useful, really helpful in our project. But as you said, there are still lots ahead in the roadmap.
Yeah, that's a good one, Mehran. You created this post here. Yes, actually, because every like NuGet packages has some internal dependencies to the others, and it makes sense because they didn't want to develop again from the beginning. They just pull down
Exactly.
some current NuGet package, and then here also for the MCPs, it's most likely will be like this. Maybe there is a MCP server that inside that they want to use some other functions tools there, then they just want to
Exactly.
reuse the same thing.
Exactly.
But
So
yeah,
what if
that's totally
what if
fine.
I
Yeah.
want to create a very complicated MCP over PostgreSQL for example, to optimize it so it is able to optimize the PostgreSQL, but I don't want to write the basic logic that is available on everywhere. So I want to use that MCP within my MCP and write an MCP over it. So I think that these are some stuff that maybe we should see in the future in
Mm.
the roadmap.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. So it's almost uh, 1 hour and 50 minutes. It was really enjoyable talk, Mehran.
Thank you.
Anyone, if you have any questions, this is your last chance to just uh, post it here. Uh, we will talk about it. So, Mehran, as a last thought about the AI, or maybe your prediction about the AI, how it will be in like next 5 years, and also embedding and using the AI in the industry, how it will be. I don't want to ask that question. Is it replacing our job or these things that it is? I think we know the answer that it cannot replace. But I mean, in case of how we can use it better to help us to be more productive in our daily job, to be like more like fast, more accurate when we are writing the code. Yeah, just curious about your thought here.
Yes, actually, I'm thinking about it in this way. If you look at the history of the computer interaction with humans, okay, in the old days, they were using punch cards to interact with the computer. Yes, they were
Mm.
putting punching the cards and giving the punch card to the computer, and the result was printing. So there was punch cards. But after a while, the keyboards were invented. When the keyboards were invented, a new kind of UIs were emerged in the market. The CLI, the command line. The command line, was the main way that you were able to interact with computers. And after a while, when the monitors invented, after a while, the mouse invented. When the mouse were invented, the a whole new the realm of possibility was available for a UI because, for example, Windows operating system was invented because now there's a device that you can have a pointer on the screen that can move while you're moving your hand on the table. Okay, so inventing the mouse was opening a new possibility for the UI. And after a while, uh, the by the invention of the touch screen, the touch screen created a whole another experience. So the most applications were going to be designed touch friendly. They should be clickable by a thumb. So a new a new way of interacting with computer were created because the invention of touch based systems. Okay, I think this kind of the AI, the LLM AIs that we have today is another disruption in computer-human interaction. Because we have AI, LLM AIs now, I think in the following years, the UX and the human-computer interaction will be disrupted one another time. So in this new interaction, the main way of interacting with the computers will not be working with touch or keyboards or mouses. I think it will be disrupted and will be replaced with conversational UI. So you can, why do you want to touch something and select some combo boxes, type your name there, while you can't just talk with the computer. I want a taxi. I want to go to that place, and it will answer you. Okay, the price is this. Do you agree? Yes, I'm okay with that. Please send me the taxi, and the taxi will be on your home, on your place. So I think this LLM tools and this conversational AI that will come to the market soon will change the way that we are going to work with different products. Chatting, so conversations, both chatting and talking will be replaced. Lots of human-computer interactivity, I think, in the near future. That's what I think about the future, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. I mean, this kind of evolution happening, like in computer, like I always tell this example of mobile phones. We had like old Nokia without any touch. You have without any even bigger screen, very just for talking. But after they realize, okay, it can be like an entertainment for the people playing with that, or having touch screen, or moving like internet, lots of other functionality other than just talking on the phone, you know. So this is
Exactly.
AI. I think it will be a lot more. Yeah, just a very final question. I think how to call from PA, single page application, from TypeScript. I think I already have this things. Every MCP server, they have the usage page. You can just go and see how they are calling from the TypeScript, like because they provide different SDKs for
Yeah.
.NET, Python, or so just you can go
But
and
for some
check it.
interactions, you may need WebSocket connections, because you want your server to be able to call your clients. So in some scenarios, it's possible that you need WebSocket connections. As for example, CristaCode.ai, our website is using WebSocket connections for the interaction with the AI.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Lastly, I want to mention, because I in my presentation I used some illustration that you saw. Yes,
Yeah.
for that presentation, I want to mention that I've used the the illustrations in this YouTube video. I don't know who is Henry Kinberg, but I found it very useful. So I want to just reference that those illustrations wasn't by me. I borrowed those illustrations from this YouTube video, and you can watch this. This is a very good intro for generative AI in a nutshell. I just want to mention that I borrowed this
Okay.
from
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
You can put the URL of that video in the comments, so everyone, if there
Okay.
is a
Yes.
YouTube
Oh.
video. And also Ihan again asking about the server send event. It is can be, but I think Mehran meant about the WebSocket. There are different ways of interacting between your client and your server.
Implementing
Yes,
it. Yeah.
it is possible. Yeah, it is possible for connecting to the MCP server only by, if this is a remote MCP, it's only working with the SSE, but maybe you have different things. You can interact with your server your server, not MCP. Sending the text over the WebSocket, getting response over the WebSocket, or the stuff is, I mean, it depends on the MCP. So, okay. I'm sharing your screen. So this is your
yes, this is
thing you
the
mentioned.
video that I borrowed the illustrations from here.
Yeah. So okay, good one. Yeah. So guys, thanks so much. Was really interesting talk. Mehran, really appreciate it for your time. I
Thank
hope you
you for
also
having me.
enjoyed this talk. And maybe while after new features comes to the community about the MCPs or even LLMs, we can have another live talking about that one.
Sure.
So yeah, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, everybody. Really see you all here.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.